Do you love to go vintage shopping like I do? Then this episode is for you. I'm going to cover what you need to know to find safe secondhand items. Welcome to Feng Shui Living, the podcast designed for busy women who want to de-stress, live with intention, and create a home that truly supports their well-being. Each week, I'll bring you practical tips, insightful ideas, and simple strategies to enhance both your home and your life. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Feng Shui Living Podcast. I am your host, Lisa Morton, and today we're talking about what to know before bringing home some of those secondhand finds. Now, I know vintage shopping, antiquing can be so fun. It's like looking for a buried treasure. Now, I will preface to say I have to be in the right headspace. I have to be prepared to hunt and prepared to not find anything. But it can be such a fun experience. I also love to encourage looking for cool antique pieces instead of opting for those fast furniture pieces. You can just as easily hit up a cool resale shop and find a great little end table versus hitting up one of those stores and the table falls apart in a year. So again, always trying to avoid fast furniture when possible. But let's talk about being safe and stylish in this episode today. Before we do, I'm so excited. I have a giveaway. I love giveaways. I often give away things from my work, consultations or product. But today I'm giving away something else that I am personally so excited for. It's an event. It's a ticket to an event. So my amazing dear friend, Jill Herman, is an amazing coach and also the host of the incredibly successful Be You podcast. And she's hosting an event. Now, she doesn't normally do this. Normally, her events are retreats, where very intimate retreats, a small group of women together, small trainings. But this is big and it's going to be so exciting. And I have a free ticket for one of my listeners. I bought an extra ticket and I was like, I want to give this away to someone. And I'm like, why don't I give it away to a podcast listener? So the Be You event is a women's empowerment and embodiment event. It's October 25th, so not too far away. It is from 1 to 5 p.m. where I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So you have to be able to attend the event to win. I don't pay for airfare. You're getting the ticket. There's some great, if you're out of town, fly in, treat yourself. There's a great airport nearby, a short drive from Indianapolis, a short drive from Chicago, from Detroit. Come and there's great art galleries, great restaurants here. Anyway, come into town, treat yourself. The event is also right next door to a beautiful boutique hotel. But this BU event is a 4-hour live experience that invites women to drop the masks of perfection and rediscover their true selves. This is not a motivational seminar, but rather a safe, vulnerable, and deeply personal space where women can connect and feel seen. Tickets are $197, but I have one for you. Come and go join me, go sit next to me at this amazing, amazing event. So to sign up to try to win one ticket, I'm going to give it away. To win it, I'm going to ask you to share your favorite podcast. Maybe go to social media and share your cool post, a cool tip that I gave you. Share it with someone. Snap a screenshot, and I want you to email it to me. I want to know what you guys are loving too, right? Because that helps me create more content. But snap a photo of sharing it with a friend. Maybe you're telling a friend, snap a photo of you two on your morning walk and send it to me. That will do also. I want you to email me at office@Pure Living with Lisa Morton. Again, the email address is office@purelivingwithlisamorton.com. No purchase necessary. We don't have to work with me. You don't have to be one of my clients. You just have to be able to attend the event and want to come, and it's going to be so exciting. So again, October 25th, it's a Saturday from 1 to 5 here where I live in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So fun. Okay, so now that we're over the excitement of the giveaway, we'll get back into the episode. So back to those secondhand finds. I love to go thrift shopping to find cool pieces to bring home. I collect glassware. I love vintage glassware. I collect old vintage keys and old skeleton keys and locks. I just think they're really cool. I'll put several in a little dish and put that on my cocktail table. I think it looks really cool. And when my nieces were little, they would come over and go through the keys and go, "Oh, I bet this one goes to a treasure chest." And it was cute. Anyway, I also love I started collecting old books, which I had to learn about collecting old books. There's a few things to know. I also have just some old pieces that I truly love. I have a cabinet from my grandmother, and it was in their basement. I remember being a kid and going downstairs and into the basement and seeing it, and I always loved it. So when she passed and they sold the house, my parents actually got it for me, and then my dad built some beautiful shelves to go inside, and I have this piece in my hallway. I see it almost every single day, and I really love these pieces. Yes, I has that connection to my grandmother, but any vintage piece has just there. There's history to it. It's interesting. I have another favorite piece, maybe that doesn't have the connection of my grandmother's cabinet, but it's one of my favorite pieces. It's a desk chair. When we lived in Ohio, I snagged it at a yard sale. And there's a big label on the back that says Ohio Desk Company. It's a beautiful, traditional, solid wood desk chair. I love it. I used to sit at my desk all the time. Unfortunately, I started doing more and more Zooms years ago. And as I was sitting there, when you move, it creaks and it's kind of loud. So I had to swap it out. But I still have it in my office. I actually use it as a guest chair. So not that I have a lot of people in my office, but over there in the corner, it looks great. And if I do need an extra chair, I have it. But I love that piece. It's so fun to find these cool pieces. But, we need to know how to be safe. I mean, it's fun, it's sustainable, and it's better for the environment to reduce, reuse, recycle. You always hear me saying that. But after this episode, you will have a step-by-step process for cleaning, disinfecting, and energetically clearing your amazing finds so that you can feel confident bringing it into your home. We often think, oh, I'm going to snag something and bring it right in, and don't really think about the effects. So let's talk secondhand. Is it worth it? I mean, I've already raved about buying secondhand because it's fun, right? It's like a treasure. Like, you don't know what you're going to find, but it has a huge environmental impact. We're reducing things going to the landfill. It's keeping an item, alive, right? So let's talk about secondhand and is it worth it? Okay, yes, because I just raved about secondhand and I think it's so fun. If you've never really dug into secondhand items, explore. Just pop into an antique store. You don't have to you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to explore any specific thing. Just wander through, look at the old pieces, think about, oh, I wonder how they used that one day. My parents love to go antiquing, and so I would spend a lot of time when I was younger. And we would go to antique stores, and even to this day when they visit, we'll find a antique store. There's one in my town that used to be a roller rink, and now it is an antique store. But if you're walking along, you can see where the skating was, and it's really cool. Anyway, it's fun to walk through with them because I'm like, what is this piece? And, my mom will be, oh, that was the thing used in the 60s for this and this. And so it's kind of fun. It's a great conversation. But these items are great. By reusing an item, we're avoiding sending it to the landfill. We always want to do that. Maybe you can repurpose an item. You see a cool container of sorts, instead of just having whatever, maybe turn it into a vase. Like, get creative, get crafty, have fun with these items. It doesn't have to be just what it was meant to be or how you initially see it displayed at the store. These items have unique character and charm that you don't see these days. Things were made very differently. I specifically love the 60s. I think it's so groovy and so interesting. It's also a budget friendly way to find some high quality furniture, something handmade, something beautiful, so that you don't have to select fast furniture. And then there's also an energetic aspect of you're giving something a second life. And that feels really good. It feels good to bring something in and invite it to serve a new purpose. So let's talk about some safety concerns to watch out for, because you need to know. This is not a fun topic. We're going to talk about pests, bed bugs, mites, fleas. It's important to look and be mindful. You could go into a beautiful shop and you don't know. If it's an older piece, you don't know what's in there. It's also important to know about lead paint that might be on the object or other toxins. Also, we don't often think about this, but structural safety of the item. If it's a beautiful chair and it looks beautiful, that's great, but is it actually structurally sound? Is it wobbly? Are there sharp edges? It's also important to be aware of any allergens, dust, mold, maybe even smoke residue. And you have to be extra careful because you might not smell it in a big space. And yet you take it home and it's smells, there's dust, it's smoky perhaps. So you need to really slow and inspect before you buy. So I always say, do a sniff test. Get close and friendly with it. Musty smells can indicate mold or mildew, right? Flip over the cushions. Look deep in the seams. Look near the zippers. This is where you're going to look for bed bugs. Okay? As far as maybe a wooden desk or something, wiggle the joints, maybe the upholstered chair, wiggle the arms, check if it's stable, right? Check the stability of the arms and legs to ensure it's safe to use, it's safe to sit on. And then here's my two things I always go to an antique store with. Number one is a tape measure. And I have in my phone some specific measurements for spots I'm looking for a magical piece to go in. So take your tape measure, just those little ones work. And also a flashlight. I have a small flashlight that I carry. I guess I could use the one on my phone too. But then you can look in the nooks and crannies and really dig and see. So let's talk about cleaning and disinfecting your finds because it is so important. So this is my step-by-step guide. Number one, I love this title I gave it. Initial quarantine. Keep the item in your garage, on the porch, or somewhere separate from your home, from the interior of your home before you bring it in. What I do is I keep it out on the screened-in porch. It's protected from the elements, but it will sit out there for several days. Depending on the weather, it will sit out there for several days. If it's summer out, it's out there for a week. It is just out there refreshing, okay? Have this time for, anything that might have been in the item that went into the antique store, the vintage shop. Now, I'm not saying these antique stores or vintage shops are filled with bed bugs. That's not what I'm saying, but you just never know. So better safe than sorry. It's especially important to take on this quarantine time for upholstered items, chairs, ottomans, and also rugs, and really just anything fabric covered. So here are some steps for pest prevention. Number one is vacuuming. Vacuum thoroughly all the seams, all the crevices. Get underneath. if you have the little crevice attachment for your vacuum, get in there and get all the nooks and crannies. Next is steam treatment. Use a handheld steamer. I think I picked mine up at Target. I use it on draperies. I use my steamer more than my iron a lot of times. A steamer is a fantastic tool, not very expensive. It's a great piece to have. But you can use a handheld steamer to kill mites, bacteria, and also bed bug eggs. Next is sun and heat. If it's safe, if the season allows and the weather allows, leave the item out in direct sunlight for several hours because the heat will naturally kill pests. And I do this all the time. Not only with just pieces I bring into my home that might be secondhand. I mean, I put so many things out in the sun to let the sun and the heat kill it from, we wash the dog beds and the inside foam pieces go out in the sun. I put everything out in the sun. Nature is amazing. The last thing I want to talk about is freezing. You wouldn't typically think about freezing, but for smaller items, maybe a pillow or a stuffed animal or books, because I've been buying a lot of books and I didn't know this at first. Take these smaller items, put them in a Ziploc bag. You might have to get a big gallon bag and freeze for 72 hours. This will kill all the little critters that could possibly be in there. Okay? Now let's talk about cleaning, like actually cleaning it. So I did some research and I found a really great website that I would like to share. I'll put in the show notes, but it is about mold. Okay. The website is moldguides.com/remediation-furniture. So moldguides.com/remediation-furniture. Great place to go for how to safely and properly care for mold. But I have some great tips to clean. I have them kind of divided up by material. So let's talk about wood furniture. Wash it down with a mild soap and water or a vinegar water solution. I'm a huge fan of hot water and vinegar. Put it in a bucket, get the water really hot, and it will clean. Make sure you to dry it completely, whether that's a towel. I've even gotten my hair dryer out on cool setting to really dry something. You want to dry it to avoid anything from warping. And then you can also follow up with a natural furniture oil or like a wood wax to nourish it and to seal. A wood wax is beautiful to add to some wood that's dried out. The next material I want to talk about is metal. Clean your metal with warm soapy water and then make sure you thoroughly dry to prevent any rust from forming. Get a towel, get it in the nooks and crannies, maybe the hair dryer out again. You can also use baking soda paste or a natural rust remover for any tarnish that might be on it. It's going to take a little elbow grease, but it will work. If you're buying something that's glass or ceramic, I love to get my beautiful glassware, wash it with warm soapy water, and then if it's safe, also throw it in the dishwasher. So I like to do that second step. It just makes me feel like it's extra clean. Now, if you're looking at a piece that's upholstered or fabric covered, I have a few tips. Number one is sprinkle with baking soda. So lightly sprinkle the entire piece. If there's a cushion in a chair, maybe take the cushion out, get both sides, right? Let it sit and then vacuum. So I'll take the wand, attachment to the vacuum and just suck it all up. Go over a couple times. You can also steam clean or use a non-toxic upholstery cleaner. There are a lot of upholstery cleaners out there that are very, very bad news. Be mindful of what you're using so it's safe for anyone to sit on that piece of furniture in the future as well as while you're using it. You want to be very, very careful. You can also consider reupholstering a piece or replacing the cushion inserts if you get home and you're like, they smell musty. Or if you're just like, hey, I want a new fabric on this. There's actually someone I follow on Instagram, who she refinishes vintage chairs but puts fun, modern, large-scale floral bright prints on to refinish to recover the cushions and the upholstery. It's so beautiful and it is so fun. So find a new fabric. Maybe you want to take an upholstery class and learn how to upholster furniture as a side hustle or as a hobby, or find a local person who does upholstery and have them work on it. They'll have options of fabrics. Check out fabric stores near you. Get something fun. Make it yours. That's what I love about buying secondhand is you can really make it yours. Whether that could be even just adding new knobs that match your interior. The next material I want to talk about, and the last one is our rugs. You want to keep the rug outside. I love to let mine sit in the sun. I'll have it laid out in the driveway. Make sure nobody decides to just drive over it. But leave it out in the sun. And then you're going to want to you're going to want to beat it with something. I take the end of a broom. I'll like drape it over this bench we have in the yard and beat it with the end of the broom just to release any initial dust, just a starting point, right? Vacuum both sides. You can flip it over and vacuum the back side of it. But I also definitely recommend professional rug cleaning, especially for a rug that has wool in it. And you might not know if it has wool in it, but if it's a high value rug, okay, get it professionally cleaned. If you live where I do, I have a company that I absolutely love, Distinctive Clean. Alan and Audrey are the owners of this company. They can clean the most beautiful, luxurious rugs. They're also just really good at cleaning carpets. Oh gosh, with my dogs, we have a lot of carpet cleaning happening in our house. But these experts will know. Wherever you live, find a quality rug cleaner to clean your rugs. And it isn't always the big popular companies. Check the smaller ones as well. All right, we're getting there. Tip number 4 is disinfecting. Wipe down any hard surfaces with a non-toxic disinfectant. Again, vinegar and water is one of my favorite things. You can also use plant-based cleaners. Additionally, I learned about the effects and the power of hydrogen peroxide. I had no idea that people use this to clean until we had the Hurricane Helene go through our Florida home, and everything was destroyed in our home. And everything inside had to be tossed. Every item in that house, except for, on top of the closets, you store some random things, the top shelf. I had some wrapping paper, a couple candles I didn't like, some hangers. That's what I salvaged from that hurricane. It's irritating to say the least of what I got to salvage. Anyway, everyone's safe. That's what matters anyway. But I learned, and they were taught, FEMA people, the city hall, everybody, everybody was looking for answers. And I kept reading and kept hearing about the power of hydrogen peroxide, that actually can be more powerful than bleach. So I haven't actually used it, but I did learn a ton. I'm happy to send some of that information on if you would be curious about that. So remember to always, if you can, avoid those harsh chemicals that are going to off gas into your home. And they also might damage finishes. If it's a really old piece, you don't really know how that cleaning solution might affect the piece. If you do have something you want to, test in a hidden corner before you start applying it everywhere, but always be careful. And then here's a tip I read online, which I don't know if I would do, but I'll share it with you. You can consider a final pass with a UV light wand. They make these for small electronics and small items, but you can take it and, pass over your I guess maybe that'd be a good option for my books. I could flip through under the UV light. I don't know, something to think about here. So now you've been digging in crevices, vacuuming, cleaning, wiping down. Now let's think about the energy of the item. So when I leave things out on my porch, I do that for multiple reasons: for fresh air, for anything that might be living on it to want to like fly away, and also for the energy. I don't want to bring that item into my home until I've energetically cleansed it. So you can do this a few different ways. Number one is with smoke clearing. You can light some sage, maybe some Palo Santo, maybe some dried cedar, and waft that around the item. I'll flip through the book because books hold a lot of energy, right? From the stories in them to the people that read them to where they were prior to coming to you. So I'll waft the smoke as I'm flipping through the pages. You can also use sound clearing because sound vibrates, right? So you can play ring a bell, or maybe if you have a singing bowl, play that around the item. Also spritz. The power of water is just mind-blowing. Don't disregard how a simple aromatherapy spritz can affect your item. And that's why a lot of people use the Good She Spritz. That's actually what I use. My Good She Spritz that I have available on my website. I hand make each bottle, and it's a beautiful essential oil spritz made with moon water and Reiki charged, and I'll mist it around. Now you do want to be careful, right? You don't want to get the pages of the book too wet. Or maybe if it's a wood item, but it's a very delicate mist. I'll mist it up high, let it just land as I flip through the book or turn the glass around. And then if you know, you've followed me for a while, you know, my clearing has two parts. It's the clearing, but then also setting intention and infusing the item. So infuse the item with what you want. Say aloud, what does you want this item to bring into your home? Think of it like a new family member. Like you got a new cat or a new dog and you're like, oh, you're going to join our family. We're so excited, right? Maybe it's a beautiful set of glassware. And oh my gosh, you are going to provide us with so much fun and you're going to be so beautiful on my bookshelf. And, you know, we ask for, you know, enjoyment and positive energy as, you know, so think about infusing that item. Yes, I know you might feel silly doing that, but it is powerful. Trust me. Okay, we're going to round things out here with a couple notes I had. There's a time to say no. There is a time to say no, even though you love it. And I've found some really cool pieces that upon further investigation, I realized there might be a major infestation, mold or mildew that can't be cleaned or removed. Maybe there's even strong chemical smells, or sometimes a smoke smell just cannot be removed. Also, say no when you find a piece that energetically feels off. Trust your gut. Okay. So remember my steps: quarantine, clean, disinfect, and then clear energetically and infuse it with all the good vibes. So I would love to know if you love to go vintage antique shopping and some of your favorite pieces. Post a picture on Instagram and tag me at Feng Shui Living Podcast. I'd love to see it. Or you can also just message me too, wherever on Facebook, or find me and let's talk about your pieces. You can also schedule a free 15-minute discovery call, and we can find just the right place to put your new vintage find. So I can't wait to hear. Thanks so much for hanging out during this episode. I will see you at our next one. Special thanks to our sponsor, Elevated Living School of Holistic Design and Feng Shui. For more information, head over to the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, and share this episode with a friend. We'll see you next time.